Okay, scholars, this is our listen and respond for this week. It's called Wash Your Hands. So if you'll check out the front cover, looks like there's an adult here with some kids, and it looks like they're in a bathroom. Let's see what's on the back. On the back it says, achoo, achoo, cough, cough. The kids in Mrs. Connor's class are getting sick. But Mrs. Connor knows just how to get rid of germs. Soon, everyone joins in the fight against germs, and they win. So go ahead and pause here. I want you to write down what you think this story is going to be about. Make sure you write your name. And then the date. It will be on the board. I think Monday is the 25th, 2019. Make sure you write the title, Wash Your Hands. Make sure you capitalize because it's a title. We always capitalize titles. Okay, so now we're ready to preview. Readers always collect clues before they get started reading. Look at the front and back covers of the book before you start reading or listening to the story, and then fill in the chart below. What do you think this book is going to be about? Why do you think this? I think this book will be about blank. I think this because I saw it on the front cover, or I know this about washing your hands. This is why I think this, right? Once you've done that from the front cover and the back cover that we read together, you're ready to start listening and ready to go to the next page in your packet. Everyone in Mrs. Connor's class had a cold. Achoo! Nick sneezed. Ack, ack! Jamie coughed. Emma blew. Honk! We have a lot of germs in our classroom, said Mrs. Connor. I don't see any germs, said Michael. Germs are too small to see, said Mrs. Connor, but germs are powerful. They can make you sick. So let's pause right here, and we're going to go ahead and fill in our first box. So we're on characters and setting. Readers know that understanding the characters and setting of a story helps them understand what is going on in the story. List 2 characters from the story, and then what do you know about them? Think about their inner traits and their outer traits. So if you need help, you can look in your notebook for under character traits. Character traits notes in your reader's journal. And you'll find out what inner traits and outer traits are. And I need 1 inner trait and 1 outer trait for each character. So right now we only know names of characters. So I remember somebody was named Emma, and I remember Mrs. Connor. You can have the same ones that I do, or you can have different ones. What I want you to do now is come up with an inner trait. An inner trait, remember, is something you can't see by looking at them. You would figure it out by like things that they do or say. So you would think, I know that someone who says that you know, calls you a name, does that mean they're a nice person or a mean person, right? So you think about what you know about how people act, and you're going to use that to determine a trait about them based off of what they do. Now, an outer trait for Mrs. Connor is that she is a woman, right? We can see that. We can look at her and tell that she is a grown-up and she's a girl, so that makes her a woman, right? So an outer trait is something we can see with our eyes. Like you have green hair, you have blue eyes. I can look at you and tell that without having to get to know you or hear anything you say. It's an outer trait, okay? So as we read, you may come back to this and fill this in once you get to know some inner traits or some outer traits of the characters. So let's see what happens next. I am sick of this cold, said Nick. If I could see those germs, I would beat them up. I know a good way to get rid of germs, said Mrs. Connor. Who would like to show me how to wash hands? She asked. So it looks like they're in the bathroom together. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of people in one bathroom. Let's pause here and talk about the setting. So what is the setting of the story? Remember, the setting is always, always, always going to be a place. It's never, ever, ever not going to be somewhere you can go. So if you write something here and it's not a place that you can visit or go to, it's not the setting and you need to change your answer, right? So it will help you remember that it has to be a place. We have right here the definition of setting. The setting of the story is where the story takes place. So the setting of the story is at blank. Where are they at? I know they have a teacher and I see a whole bunch of kids together. I can look back at the story and see what's happening. Oh, I see a bulletin board. I see a door to a bathroom. Oh, I see desks. I wonder where they are. So once you figure out where they are, you're going to fill that in the blank. I will, said Raisa. He turned on the cold water and stuck his hands underneath. Done, he said. Oh no. Let's pause right here and let's go ahead and make a prediction. So, readers always guess what they think might happen next. What do you think might happen next? So I'm going to say Raisa has washed his hands without soap. Washed without soap. So now this is what you need to copy. You're going to copy exactly what I have right here in this first blank for make a prediction. Raisa has washed without soap. So let me read it out for you and spell it for you. Raisa, R-E-Z-A, and that's a name, so you need to make sure it's got a capital letter. Has, H-A-S, washed, W-A-S-H-E-D. Without, W-I-T-H-O-U-T. Soap, S-O-A-P. Raisa has washed without soap. Has happened in the story. So something I think might happen next is you're going to come up with these parts on your own. So make sure that you have copied this right here down exactly like I have it. If you need to rewind it or pause it or whatever you need to do to get this copied down and make sure it matches mine, you're going to do that now. Then you're going to use what you know about what's happened in the story and what you know about washing hands to make a prediction about what you think might happen next. So a prediction isn't something that you know, it's something that you don't know yet. You're thinking about what you already know about what's happening, like what you already know about how to wash your hands and what's happened in the story to make a prediction or a guess about what might happen next. Like, I know that he needs to use soap, so what do you think is something that Miss Connor might do next? So go ahead and write that in this blank, and when you're done, you can listen to the rest of the story and see if you were right. You forgot the soap, said Nia. She pumped out a little soap and rinsed her hands. Done, she said. You both did a good job, said Mrs. Connor, but not a good enough job to get rid of germs. The best way to get rid of germs, she said, is to sing. Sing? Asked the class. Mrs. Connor said, roll up your sleeves, please. She turned on warm water and gave everyone some soap. Then Mrs. Connor sang, wash your hands with soap each time and remember this short rhyme. Let the water run real warm. Stop those germs from doing harm. Keep on washing, make it fun. Now you know just how it's done. That is the ABC song, said Becky. Now it is the wash hands song, said Jamie. The first graders sang the wash hands song every time they washed their hands. Soon everybody got better. I told you I could beat those germs, said Nick. The end. All right, so now we're going to visualize. Readers always think about how this story might look in their heads. So imagine that you didn't get to see these pictures, but you're trying to imagine what's happening in your brain. It's like your mind movie. So you're going to tell me what you're seeing as you read. So what do you think this part of the story might look like? So again, you're going to copy exactly what I have right here on this first blank so that everybody is on the same page and it makes sense when we do it, right? So I'm imagining the part in the story where blank is happening. I'm imagining it looks like blank. 3 things to describe this are blank, blank, and blank. So to describe, it means to tell me. Tell me about. Pretend like you're not there, or I'm not there, and you're telling me what happened. So you're describing it. So I saw a big, fluffy puppy, right? So now I know what that puppy looked like. It was a brown puppy. Now I know even better what it looked like because you're describing its traits to me. So I'm imagining the part in the story where Mrs. Connor sings. So you're going to have that same exact thing on yours. If you need to pause or rewind or anything like that, you can do that. Make sure that yours matches mine. If you have something different here, it's going to make all your answers wrong. So make sure that you have this same answer that I do. So I'm going to spell it for you, and then you're going to move on to the next part. So Miss Connor sings. Miss, M-S, period. Connor, C-O-N-N-O-R, sings, S-I-N-G-S. Miss Connor sings. So I'm imagining the part in the story where Miss Connor sings is happening. I'm imagining it looks like, what do you think that would look like? What do you think it would look like if a teacher was in the bathroom singing a song to you? Would it look serious? Would it look scary? Would it look funny? So that's where you're going to give me like one word to describe the whole thing. And then down here is you're going to describe what you're seeing. So something that I remember seeing as we were reading is it looked like the kids were kind of dancing around while they washed their hands. So I'm going to say 3 things to describe this are dancing children at the sink. So dancing children at the sink. You can have this one of mine, but these other 2 need to be from your own brain. So, or you could come up with your own if you don't want to use mine. That's fine. So these are going to all be from your own brain. You're describing what you see. Tell me about it. Imagine it in your brain and then pretend like I can't see in your brain, so you have to tell me what you're seeing. So you're describing it to me. After you finish that, we're ready to summarize. Readers, think about the most important parts of a book. In your own words, give me a summary of the story you just listened to. So please pay attention here, guys. These parentheses, they're telling me what to write in this blank. I see them right here. So you're not making up something to go in this blank. You guys need to please pay attention to the sentence stems so that whatever you write makes sense. The story, blank, title of the story. Oh, I know I need to write the title in this blank. So the title is Wash Your Hands. Boom, done. Talks about blank. Characters. Oh, I need to put the characters in. There are a lot of kids in this story, so one way that you can summarize that is you could say about Mrs. Connor and her students, right? You don't have to name every single kid. Then you're going to tell me what's going on at the beginning of the story, what's going on in the middle, and what happens at the end. So you could look at your retell notes. Those will help you. Problem and solution. Those will help you to figure out what you should do here if you get stuck. Basically, you're just kind of summing up what happened in the beginning of the story, what's going on, what are they talking about, what happens in the middle, what did they do to change whatever the problem was, and then at the end, how did they finish up? Are they all happy? Or is anybody still sick? Like, what's going on? Once you finish this, you are finished. Make sure your name's at the top and please turn it into me. Don't put it in the drawer because people are getting lost like that. So just turn it into me. Then you can move on to finish any outstanding work that you haven't completed. And then you can move to Lexia or Moby Max.